but we're good. It's Tuesday the 7th of September. I'm your lisping host, Just-inHouse. This is TrueHouse episode 409. Okay, yeah, 7th of September. I have been making apologies for my current toothless look. I lost this the other day. I haven't physically lost the tooth, but I did knock it out. It's obviously a temporary cap. So each stream I'm doing this apology thing. Anyway, it is what it is. I will get to the dentist. It's very costly. That's what it's gonna take. So that will have to wait to the end of the month. Okay, I'm not going to tempt fate tonight with Twitch streaming as well. I'm just going to focus, saying F is an issue. I'm just going to literally focus on YouTube tonight and make sure this is actually a functional live stream. The last couple of nights I've had some technical difficulties. I'm the first to admit there's certain aspects of streaming that I'm not exploring and need to stop procrastinating and frankly delve deeper, push harder, try more. I've taken this to a level now where I'm acutely aware of what I'm doing, so I'm cognizant of the following things. I enjoy this, which essentially makes me a monologuing talking head. I have no issue conjuring up things to say. Always scriptless, always. There is no edit. You can see that this is very much done on the fly. Just listen to the way I sound. I love the smartphone thing. Speaking of, this time next week, the new 13 series iPhone will be dropped. Not physically, I hope, but the keynote on stage, which we'll see virtually online with Mr. Good Morning himself, Tim Cook. So my current phone that I'm using there to stream on, the 12 Pro Max, will be swapped out for the 13 Pro Max, as will my S21 Ultra here be going out for the new Google Pixel 6 Pro due at the end of the month. So September's a good month for a geek like me that does love a smartphone. Middle of the month, or to be specific, the iPhone 13 keynote will be this time next week, which means pre-orders will be on the 17th. So Tuesday the 14th, if I've got this in my head right, Tuesday the 14th keynote, which so we'll see it online, you know, the whole launch bit. And then 3 days after that, we'll all be able to pre-order the things online. And then 7 days after that, on Friday the 24th, that will be the day when people like me will have them come through the door, in store / through the door. So 24th is the actual day you'll have your hands on a new iPhone 13 if you so desire. And like I say, September 30th for the Pixel 6 Pro. That's the tech bit. Okay. One of the things I want, the thing I've called tonight's episode 409, 15 minutes, okay, because, let me just turn this microphone a little bit. I've got this wound up very tightly, possibly too tightly. That's cool. Yeah, one of the things that the late Andy Warhol, in fact, let me just show you, for those of you who don't know who Andy Warhol was, let me show you. Hey Google, show me pictures of Andy Warhol.
These pictures should match.
That's my embedded screen. Hey Google, who was Andy Warhol?
According to Wikipedia, Andy Warhol was an American artist, film director, and producer who was a leading figure in the visual art movement known as pop art.
Okay, so that gives you an idea who Andy Warhol was. The era that Andy Warhol thrived in was really, as Googs has just reliably told us, pop art, and it was an era of decadence, of very flamboyant Studio 54. This is the way I sound. 54. Lisping cast, lisping string, and one of the quotes which has become kind of iconic that Andy Warhol uttered was, "In the future, everyone," I'm paraphrasing now, "in the future, everyone will have their 15 minutes of fame." And I feel that this is very true for the time we're in now. And I really titled tonight's stream just an extension of that thought process. What would Andy Warhol make? A Generation X kid, which I was, or am. I remember being raised in those teenage years, and what I term it, and a lot of people in my group would term it, the John Hughes generation, and that's the late great John Hughes, who directed such classics as The Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, Planes, Trains, Automobiles, and of course Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Bueller. Inside joke for those that have seen the film. The thing is, I want to go down this road of fame, the exploration of fame, because fame used to be a side effect, so if somebody became notorious or infamous or just out and out famous, it was because they had attributes, because they had a particular skill set, because that person was a great athlete, a great singer, a great actor. So the human in question who would transcend typical conventional society, the lives of many humans are quite mundane, as Henry David, Thoreau. Hey Google, who said many men lead quiet lives of desperation?
Philosopher Henry David Thoreau. On the website nationalhumanities.org, they say, "One day, I came across the lines of transcendentalist philosopher Henry David Thoreau. Most men lead lives of quiet desperation," he wrote in Walden in 1854. To find out more, look for the link in your Google Home or Google Assistant app.
Great, thank you. I'm impressed with Google. I can't lie, I'm so excited about the Pixel 6 Pro. So, that quote by Henry David Thoreau sums it up perfectly, I feel. That many men, and again, for modern times, you'd have to change the word men to people, lead quiet lives of desperation. The person that goes to their office job and hates it, the person that goes to that they have a moral obligation, a financial duty, a responsibility. They've got married, kids. Excuse me. Sorry, I have to get rid of that. Blowing nose on stream, but try not to do it into the microphone. So yeah, that's better. I won't be so sniffy now. I've just done some cardio on the bike and I have a bike in the corner. And it almost makes my nose run when I do cardio. In fact, most things make my nose run. Anyway, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to try, because this is going well, insofar as the stream hasn't dropped out, I'm going to try something. I'm going to try and stream, if I can, simultaneously to Facebook as well. And I feel a sense of dread me saying that, for the simple reason that it's probably tempting fate. I don't know. This might be a very bad idea. It really might be a bad idea. Hold on. Hold your horses. Excuse me. Excuse the hand there. Can make a minor adjustment to that camera. All right, we'll give it a go. Okay, we'll give it a go. All right, so I'm gonna go over that quote again. Okay, so you'll often see the initials HDT, so Henry David Thoreau. I don't think he's a relation of Louis Thoreau. Let's just try it one more time. Hey Google, who gave the quote, "Many men lead quiet lives of desperation"?
Philosopher Henry David Thoreau. On the website nationalhumanitycenter.org, they say, "One day, I came across the lines of transcendentalist philosopher Henry David Thoreau. Most men lead lives of quiet desperation," he wrote in Walden in 1854. To find out more, look for the link in your Google Home or Google Assistant app.
Wow. Now, I could be wrong, but I mean, this is related to tonight's topic about the Warhol quote. A lot of people have, if you look at the likes of Jack Kerouac and just the whole, the road, hitting the road, this kind of existence. I've always been something of a nomad, not in the true sense, a true nomad, or living a very pure nomadic existence would be if I actually had like an RV. Do you know what I mean? So it's something like what I call a proper recreational vehicle. So I'm just going to move that camera a little bit there. Just going to try that a fraction there. Yeah, I mean, let's just say I had a caravan, a real mobile home, a bug out home, a bug out zone that I could literally geographically make my way around the UK, or I guess my idyllic existence would be to do it the American road trip, where you literally would stay at various RV parks, and this really it makes me want to talk about the HDT quote. And a philosopher like Thoreau, that how, again, the alteration for the modern day being many people lead quiet lives of desperation, and the classic quote being men lead quiet lives of desperation. And I'm paraphrasing the quote. 1854, my eyesight's terrible, I've just seen his name now on Google. Most men lead lives of quiet desperation. And in this day and age, going back to my original premise tonight about the 15 minutes of fame, and how I certainly, just the age I am now, hailed from an era where my mental association with if a person on the telly was famous, so me as a kid going into my teens and adult years, and to this day there's so much of me that believes this should be the case. If a regular civvy can propel themselves from normality, just you went to school, you got a job, the steps of life that we all strive, many of us, to take, the convention of life, many would say mundane. When somebody busts through that, if they could be a great athlete, a tennis player, a footballer, a boxer, any sort of human body performance, a singer, an actor, a world famous surgeon, whatever, whoever, unless you're born into it, unless you're literally royalty. But the vast majority of the time, certainly my I'm trying to think of the right term, but what I would associate with fame, and this is why I've mentioned it tonight with the 15 minutes title, that the late Andy Warhol did make this prediction. It's quite prophetic is the word I'm probably wanting to say. In terms of making a premonition, it's looking to the future, how everyone would have their 15 minutes of fame. I wonder what Andy Warhol would make of this medium, whereby just your average geek, your average normie, a bloke like me, who I haven't done anything remarkable in life. There's nothing about the life I've led that would propel me into that strata, that sphere of hasn't Justin done this or done that? A level of being an outlier. I know I have done that. I think I've led a very ordinary life. It might not be a conventional life, but if conventional is as previously described, an education, a departure from school, a pursuit of a career, with a view to having a partner and the creation of family, and that's the sort of generic, that's the path that so many people take. And it's a path that I admire. There's nothing that, so I'm just going to straighten that a little bit. There's nothing about that is would to be admonished, is that the word? Anyway, it's not to be mocked or knocked. I have respect for people that have done and do that. It's something that I've not done. And I wonder now, with the the pursuit of, the acquisition of fame, the method, differs greatly from how one acquired it before. So, like I say, it was a byproduct, wasn't it? It was you know, it was, and I think it still should be. So if somebody is an amazing footballer, they got famous for being an amazing footballer. They got famous for being extremely good at something, you know, and the side effect of their skill set, their attribute, was that they got famous, you know. And I just think these days it's many would say a sad reflection. I would say it's a concerning reflection. It's quite it's certainly interesting, being very polite. It's certainly interesting to think about, if we're trying to make sense of it all, why the pursuit of happiness would be attached to fame and or money. So if we're going to be reductive and therefore make some presumptions as a conversation and say therefore, you know, 2 and 2 does equal 5, if we're going to take that stance, then you might say, well, people are now being born, people from what, who were born 2000 and onwards, a lot of them obviously have only known the internet, they've only known TikTok, they've only known Insta. So it's interesting to me how there's an entire generation or two of people coming into the world who don't remember, because they have no lived experience of other humans being famous as a side effect of a skill. And I'm purposely trying to be reductive. I'm purposely trying to be, I'm oversimplifying this. Again, sticking with the topic of everyone has their 15 minutes of fame. And it begs the question, are people, not all, but is a substantial chunk of the population now, or the young people now, seeking fame because they want to be famous, because they see fame, oh man, it's hot without the fan on, but they see fame as something to be, you know, the apex of existence. It's something to be pursued, it's desirable, the allure of it is money, is likes, is art, you know, looks, and obviously subs, and I mean, look at this American, what's the name of the girl, TikTok, Charlie D'Amelio, whatever she is, you know, these young people, 16, 17, 18, an astonishing number of eyes, you know, bordering on the absurd, you know, where you've got not 5 or 10 million, but you're going into that 80, 90, 100 million, you know, an extremely high number of people. That I just find fascinating and concerning. I wonder how sustainable, how healthy this is. You know, I think that's so far removed. And of course, again, to drive home my point, people aren't reaching that level of fame because it's secondary to their skill set. They've pursued fame as their primary objective, and then they try and discover en route, do they have any skills? Now that shit blows my mind. That's what I'm saying. That's where I am literally like, I don't know. I don't know. I'd rather you be a racing car driver. Alright, I'm going to stop that stream there. Just wanted to see if it works. At least it did work. Ooh. Okay, we'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. Alright, so get rid of that. "25 minutes. So yeah, really, I'm probably going to leave it there tonight. Nothing. I don't want to go too deep. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. God, I'm warm, man. I'm so warm. For reasons of sound, I've tried to not. I've tried to not have the fan on me, but it's warm. Yeah. I mean, for reasons of I'm just thinking, guys, who out there, you see, I wonder if the default mode, if we're talking about optimizing our existence, our time here on this mortal coil, I mean, without trying to get too esoteric, you could say, well, it's about having a good experience, a good lived experience, and then you could argue, what is good? What is good? And now this is a real philosophical discussion. What constitutes good, and how one person's good might not be a good for somebody else. Now, is having millions of followers good? It depends on a person who's being followed, if they like it or not, doesn't it? I was watching Joe Rogan earlier today because he's taken heat over daring to use, anything but the official vaccine. He's used ivermectin to combat his COVID, and of course, you're actually seeing CNN, etc., actually lie. Yeah, beyond distortion. So yeah, look, I'm just going to leave that hanging because I've mentioned Rogan because look at the level of fame, notoriety that he deals with for daring to not buckle, for daring to remain unchanged, for daring to. I actually think Rogan's I think Rogan's fame now has reached a point, and he's not compromised really. He's not. This is very encouraging. I think it's reached a level of positivity where he, whether you might like him as, or is he your personal cup of tea or not, but I think he absolutely falls into the, into that bucket of good, into the category of human enhancement, human betterment. So that's very constructive. I think we are living in unprecedented times of negativity as well, and we need something like someone, because it's almost a mindset. You could almost say, the Rogan way is a mode of living, isn't it? It's about the betterment and the enhancement of your life, your lived experience, and that begins with the body as a whole and treating it as a whole. So whether it's this micro move leads to macro. So, you know, it's small. It's really about the message from somebody, a figure like Rogan. This is where I think, you know, a Rogan, because he's what, 54. That type of fame is preferable. It's more healthy than the the literal young, arriving, 19, bang, explosive, stratospheric, here's your 100 million follower type fame, because that's not, so I'm saying, that's not sustainable. It's not a reflection of your future life. Yeah, I wonder how healthy that is compared to a Rogan that's known, you know, known bad, known pain, known loss. I do maintain if you're going to have a trajectory in life that's going to go up and improve, you need to have known shit, you need to have known pain. Look, at that point, I'm feeling knackered now. I've done my cardio quite close to this, so I can feel my blood sugar going down a little bit. That's why I'm going a bit like this. So I'm going to call it a day. That's about 32 minutes worth of me yapping. I'll be back tomorrow night with episode 410. Bit of a philosophical thing tonight, but like I say, it's really been a bit more sort of introspective, me just asking myself out loud, and therefore you guys, what do you think about the direction we're going in at a societal level? What do you think is, you know, what do you think is moving forward the better of the two forks in the road? You know, a more mature fame, but, you know, again, under the banner of an Andy Warhol prediction, everyone's going to have their 15 minutes of proverbial fame. The mature Joe Rogan type fame, where you've got your fame, it's happened as a side effect of you being damn good at something, or the other fame, where your goal is to be famous. And that's where, you know, there's a vast difference between those humans who have accidentally become famous because they're so damn talented at something, versus those humans that have gotten fame. I don't know, I'm getting tired now. You get my point. You get my convoluted point, right? I'm done now, I'm done. I can't even explain what I'm trying to say. But yeah, good fame versus bad fame. The fame that you acquire, and it's happened just as that, you know, out of my control, oh shit, I got famous because I'm good at this, or fame because I want to be famous. I'm so hungry for attention and validation, I want to be famous for fame's sake. And with that, that's too many furs with my tooth. So I'm going to bugger off, and I'll be back tomorrow night, episode 410. Thank you for joining this lisping show. I'll see you soon. Okay, that was exaggeration. Alright, cheers, good night.